In today's video, I'll show you step by step how I made this sturdy wooden easel for under $25 that you can use with a dry erase board to make a presentation, displaying artwork, or creating your own art masterpiece.
Good gravy.
I'll provide a complete parts list with prices where I bought each item. Here's my complete project parts list. I've got two 1" by 2" 6-foot long select pine boards, and then I've got one 1" by 2" 8-foot select pine board. I picked these up at Lowe's and I eyeballed them to make sure that I got some straight ones. Next, I've got one 5/16 bolt, 2.5 inches long. I've got two 5/16 washers. I've got one 5/16 nylon nut. And then I've got one 24-inch long number 14 piece of black chain. I'm also using 6 1" drywall screws. I did not include these in the price because everybody's got some screws laying around, and there's plenty left in the budget for these if you have to buy them. And the cost breakdown for this project comes out to $21.75. To get started, I'm going to cut all 3 pieces of select pine at 66 inches. That's 5.5 feet tall. That's going to be the total height for our wooden easel stand. Here you can see I'm using my quick grip clamps to hold all 3 pieces of my work together so that when I make my cut, all 3 pieces will be cut exactly the same. And then I'm just using my finish handsaw to make my cuts. There's no need for me to get out my electric chop saw for this. A handsaw will work just fine. While I still have all 3 boards clamped together, I'm going to use a 1/8 inch drill bit to drill a pilot hole. That's going to be the hole I turn into a 5/16 inch hole for my bolt. I've just measured down 1 1/4 inches and I've centered it at 3/4 of an inch. Next, I'm going to measure up from the bottom 28 inches. 28 inches is where I'm going to mount the 30-inch scrap from the 8-foot long piece of select pine. That's going to be our cross piece. I've made a mark in the center of our cross piece and I've measured out 5 inches each direction. So 10 inches wide is how wide we're going to make this gap on our cross piece. I'm going to put 1 screw at the bottom of each side of our cross pieces. That'll hold the whole thing together. I'm using a counterset bit so that the heads of the screws will be recessed. Here at the top, I want to cut a bevel down each side so that the top of the easel smashes together. So I've just made a mark perpendicular to this line, and then I'm just going to take my handsaw and I'm just going to cut them off. Next, I'm going to take this 1" butterfly bit and I'm just going to make a flat spot on each side of the easel. Now I'm going to use a 5/16 drill bit and I'm going to make the holes 5/16 so that our hinge bolt can go through. Next, I'll install the nylon lock nut. But I don't want to make it too tight. Now I'm going to install 2 more 1" drywall screws on our cross member. I'm going to use the counterset bit again so that I can recess the holes. Now I'll install the chain and I'm going to cut angles on the feet. I'm going to cut angles on the feet to make this thing a little more stable. I'm just gonna use a pencil and one of my pieces of scrap, and I'm just gonna scribe it out, and then I'm gonna cut it off with my handsaw. And that's my $25 easel project. Let me know what you think about this project in the comments down below. I'm glad you watched, and I hope you'll watch again.